For CityStars.tv, I'm Chase Neidig. We're here in downtown Cleveland, just catching up with one of the players, a rookie player out of Marshall, Kolby LaCrone. Kolby, just wanted to sit down with you and just talk to you a little bit, let the City Stars fans find out a little bit more about you. First off, just wanted to talk about how you got into soccer as a kid, and about what age, and what did you learn as a kid playing soccer?
As a kid, my first soccer experience came when I was 3 years old. My parents just kind of threw me in the youth league, and I threw a tantrum the entire time because I didn't want to play. And about the second half rolled around, and I kind of started to get it, and I saw all the kids bunched up, and I realized if I could just take the ball and go out around everybody, I could score every time. And that's how I started when I was 3 years old, and I fell in love with it then. I scored a lot of goals, and goals are fun for everybody. And it kept me coming back, so I'd go home and I'd work on different things or tricks or different ways to kick the ball, and I've just done that every day my whole life, and I've never once got tired of it.
Now tell us a little bit about where you grew up. I know it was obviously south of Cleveland, more towards Columbus. What is the soccer like down in more central Ohio?
Well, I grew up in Zanesville, Ohio. It's about an hour east of Columbus, and in Zanesville, there wasn't a big soccer community. I was probably on one of the first 1 or 2 club teams that ever came out of Zanesville, Ohio, and I played there for a few years, probably from the time I was 7 to 12, and then that's when I made the leap to start playing for club teams in Columbus. In Columbus, there's a big soccer community. There's several top-notch club teams that compete every year for the club state championship, and I was fortunate enough to be on one of the teams that definitely won several state championships and got us plenty of looks to go on to college and play.
Now, if you don't know a whole lot about Kolby, after high school, went on to play at West Virginia and then transferred to Marshall inside Ohio here in the state of Ohio, and then eventually would sign with your Cleveland City Stars. This is your first season in the professional ranks. What kind of idea did you feel coming into a new experience, obviously a new level inside the professional ranks?
It is a new experience, it is a new level, and I had expectations of what the transition would be like, and several of those expectations were met, but then the smaller things, such as, I've suffered an injury 3 weeks this year, and in college, you're more apt just to put your head down, play through it. It's an 18-game season, and a lot of times you can tough it out and get by being, 75, 80%. But at the professional level, the standard's much higher, and for 3 weeks you kind of have to shut the body down, let it recover. It's a 30-game season, and with that being said, that you need that rest. It's not something you can play through for 20, 30 games. So that's one difference. Another difference would be just the small details that make the big picture. I know in the game, a lot of times in college, you can make a couple of mistakes, get by, they won't punish you as bad. But at the professional level, you make 2 or 3 small mistakes, they can turn into big mistakes in the end and actually cost you games. And that's the difference with the total picture. And the speed of play is something to get used to as well, coming from college. And all the players are much smarter. They have a lot more knowledge of the game. And having said that, they play a lot faster. And settling into that and getting in your comfort zone, it takes a day or 2 or a week or 2. But after that, it feels good. And once you get out there with the guys, it's soccer.
These interviews are always a good time to catch up with players from totally different backgrounds throughout the City Stars organization, and I had the opportunity to go down by the river, downtown Cleveland, to catch up with Kolby. We're here more with Kolby LaCrone, and we're just talking a little bit about the reasons he decided to sign with the Cleveland City Stars. Obviously, he loves the state of Ohio. He was born just south of Cleveland and closer to Columbus area, but the Cleveland City Stars obviously are focused on serving the community and changing the world, and whether it's a faith-based or religious-based or even just a non-profit type of feel that the City Stars bring to the city of Cleveland and the surrounding communities, that is, what is one of the most important things that really pulled you into the club?
My first week on trial, at least with the entire team in preseason camp, we were in Xenia. And a few days went by and I was just hanging out with all the guys, and there wasn't one guy on the entire team that I wasn't like, wow, I could be best friends with him. And every guy had that kind of thing. You could just sit down, never knowing their name, sit down, have a great conversation with them. They kind of took you under their wing, so to speak, as one of the younger guys, helping you in training, helping you off the field. And I've never been part of a team where every single player on the team was that unified. And I really like that. And I told my parents, I just want to be a part of this team and be a part of these guys because they're a great group of guys. And that's kind of how it started. And then as I learned more about what the Cleveland City Stars are about off the field, that kind of urged me even more to be a part of it and even more happy to be a part of it. It was almost more that I got lucky to sign with Cleveland more than the other way around. And being from Ohio, it was a bonus. It was a total bonus because now my family can come up to the games. They have a 2-hour drive. Anyone in my family can come watch me play. My friends from home can come watch me play. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity someplace else.
We'll talk about his parents. If you've seen them at a game, or if you haven't, we might get that on film sometime. They look exactly like Kolby. You cannot make a mistake on that. But talking a little bit more about the Cleveland City Stars, and obviously you being here as a rookie out of college, what did you have any expectations? What you thought you'd be doing in your first year from a playing side of things?
A playing side of things, I figured I was just going to be one of the guys on the team that was going to have to work harder than everybody else. Being a younger guy, I knew I was going to be a guy on the team where maybe the expectations wouldn't be the same as it is for some of the veterans, but if I could kind of put myself in their shadow a little bit and step up to the plate and do some of the things the veterans were doing, that I might get myself in a good position within the team to give the coaching staff what they're looking for and help the Cleveland City Stars as the season goes on.
We're continuing to talk with Kolby LaCrone with the Cleveland City Stars. We're going to shift a little bit now into a little bit more of a personal basis. Talking to us about back when you were at Marshall, what was maybe your favorite college food?
My favorite college food? Nachos. I lived and died on nachos. I just make nachos once or twice a day, every day.
Now, would your college coach be frustrated with that? Did you care about eating junk food? Were you guys on any type of...
Our college coach, as far as off the field, he was pretty much hands-off kind of guy. I mean, he was definitely attentive to everything that went on and took place on the field, but off the field it was kind of like you had your own life and you could go do whatever you wanted.
Now, being in the professional atmosphere now, and we all know how Coach Rod Underwood stresses his fitness, have you had to change that diet a little bit now? I
have changed the diet a little bit now, and being away from home in the college setting, and I'm not necessarily on the go as much, I have been able to try to at least eat a little bit more healthy in terms of going to restaurants. I'll choose better foods, pasta bowls, chickens, different things like that.
Continuing to talk with Kolby LaCrone with the Cleveland City Stars, and Kolby, we wanted to just find out a little bit more what your plans are, maybe after your career in soccer.
After my career in soccer, I did obtain a business degree at Marshall University. I would like to go into business. Like I said, I do have an interest in fashion, and I don't see a day where soccer's not a part of my life. Being here with the Cleveland City Stars and kind of getting to see what it takes at this level a little bit, and being around the people I've been around, it kind of propels me to want to see what I could do to impact younger kids' lives and other players and push them on to further levels than what they ever thought they could play at. So coaching's in there too, but it's more or less just up in the air. I don't think about it too much. I try to kind of live in the moment and don't try to plan the rest of my life out, but I'm going to try to play as long as I can, and then wherever that takes me after that, I'm going to be excited about.
Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about maybe getting into some broadcasting. And I try to get everybody into that, obviously, but you might be heading into another area, and that's more into soccer clinics and soccer training. Tell me a little bit about what you're starting.
I'm starting a group, I guess. Me and a buddy got together, and it's called Kolby's Kickers, and we have a website, www.kolbyskickers.com. And from this, we're trying to kind of stem out to places like where I'm from, Zanesville, Ohio, where the level still isn't necessarily there yet, or the demand, or I guess what you would say, it's not very centralized or a big soccer community. And what I want to try to do there is take a different level and a different set of eyes that have seen some different things in the soccer world and try to take that back to kids that don't necessarily have that opportunity. Because there's a lot of talented kids out there, and there's a lot of kids out there with God-given talents that they don't really get to showcase, and no one's pushing them to do that. And I would like to take that upon myself to make that a mission or a goal of mine to go into those realms of soccer and push kids.
Well, that's just another way of the Cleveland City Stars players getting into the community, whether it's here in Cleveland or somewhere else across the country and even in the world. Alongside forward City Stars player Kolby LaCrone, I'm your host, Chase Neidig. Thanks for watching CityStars.tv.